Today we will meet David Baddiel, not exactly the most sophisticated mind in Britain.
Anelka has said he was merely showing support for a friend, a controversial French comedian called Dieudonne, whose shows have been banned over alleged anti-Semitism. Newsnight discussed the case with David Baddiel, comedian turned novelist and filmmaker, who's a Chelsea supporter and has campaigned against anti-Semitism in football.
Well, I didn't know what the gesture was when he made it, as I'm sure most people didn't know. I'd never seen it before. I had to be told that it was a Quenelle and that is an inverted Nazi salute, and so I didn't particularly have a thought about it at all. But then I think where I became more interested in it was in the fact that Anelka defended himself by saying that he was only trying to show support for his friend Dieudonne.
It is very interesting to watch David Baddiel. He admits not knowing a thing about the Quenelle and not knowing a thing about Dieudonne. He cannot even pronounce his name, and yet he has a lot to say. Let's listen to David Baddiel.
Dieudonne, who I am aware of, is a kind of enormous anti-Semite. So what struck me as odd about that, particularly because it became a kind of acceptable defence, is that Anelka seemed to be saying, no, it's not anti-Semitic, it's just a gesture in support of my friend, the enormous anti-Semite.
So what is it that makes Dieudonne into an anti-Semite, according to David Baddiel? Is it the fact that as a black person, he insists that the suffering of his people may be more concerning for him? Is it the fact that he refuses to subscribe to the primacy of Jewish suffering? Does it enough to make a person into an anti-Semite?
So I think what needs to be understood, and this is important, is that in France, as far as I can make out, kind of anti-government, anti-establishment behaviour from people like Dieudonne has become very mixed up with kind of anti-Semitic behaviour, such that when I tweeted about this, I tweeted about how it seems to me like if you're supporting Dieudonne, then you are anti-Semitic in some way. A French person tweeted me back to say, no, you don't understand, it's just anti-government, anti-French government, and anti-the Zionist cabal. And I thought, well, in my sense of, the word Zionist cabal, you're probably getting quite close to anti-Semitism.
So here we are. Mr. Baddiel doesn't want us to criticize the Zionist cabal that dominate Western political foreign affairs. AIPAC in America, CFI, Conservative Friends of Israel. 80% of our MPs here, Tory MPs, are CFI members. How many of these Tories are friends of Hartlepool or Liverpool or Shoreham? And in France, the situation is the same. And Zionism, as far as I'm aware, is a political movement. Would David Baddiel believe or argue that Jewish politics is beyond criticism?
Well, I don't know much about Dieudonne. I haven't gone to see Dieudonne do 20 minutes at the Paris Comedy Store. But I don't know much about Dieudonne. I haven't gone to see. I don't know much about Dieudonne.
In fact, you know nothing about Dieudonne, but it doesn't stop you from smearing him for joining a Zionist campaign, calling him an anti-Semite. How shameless you are.
Movie. As far as I can make out, Dieudonne's targets are the French establishment and Jews. It's not like he attacks everyone equally. And I think, as I say, there's an alignment in his mind and his supporters' minds between the French establishment and the Jews.
In case David Baddiel doesn't know, there is a clear and established alignment between the French government and the French Jewish lobby group CRIF. Bernard-Henri Lévy, who identifies himself as a Zionist Jew, was the leading advocate for the last few French interventionist wars. The French government was trying recently to jeopardize the negotiation with Iran, and it did it for the CRIF. We are entitled to criticize this alignment because this alignment is a lethal danger to world peace.
Property website Zoopla have announced they're not renewing their sponsorship of Anelka's club, West Bromwich Albion.
One thing I do think is a little bit weird is that all the papers are really telling you that the head of Zoopla is a Jewish businessman. Like, I haven't read about this story without the papers making it clear that this is a Jewish businessman. And I'd kind of like to think that you could be of any race or religion and perhaps object to someone doing a Nazi salute as a celebration.
So here we are, Mr. Baddiel. You are very unhappy with the fact that papers here do mention that Zoopla is owned by a Jewish businessman. You are unhappy with the fact that we refer to the Zionist cabal that dominates Western politics and advocates wars here in Britain, in America, and certainly in France. But you allow yourself to denounce Dieudonne as an anti-Semite without even trying to substantiate it, while admitting that you know nothing about him, while not being even be able to pronounce his name, and you call the Quenelle a Nazi salute without substantiating it. So let me tell you, Mr. Baddiel, to identify as a Jew is okay, but to silence other people's right to politically protest is far from okay. And this is exactly what you are doing, and it's not right. It's actually very, very wrong. Thank you.